Good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am grateful to be here with you, and I am glad to be here. Behind me is a painting by Ted Geisel. It's one of my favorites because of the message that it portrays. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and see if you can't see this little character down below that's walking along. And what he's got strapped to his head is this big puppet-like mask figure that he's carrying around. And so remember the title. The title is Fooling Nobody. Now, several years ago, I had the opportunity to perform, I guess is the right word, but be on stage with Marvin Goldstein, Thomas Cook, the great singer, Goldstein, the great piano player, Vanessa Joy, that sings like an angel, and me, along with a few other entertainers. But my role was to interject vignettes on gratitude. And it was highly successful. And afterwards, they came up to me and to show appreciation, they said, Lee, if you'll give us an original quote, we will interject that into a song for you as a gift. Well, I couldn't think of one off the top of my head, but I had experience recently looking into the eyes of my own grandchildren and the feelings that I had there. And so I wrote something down and gave it to them. And what I wrote down was this. When you look into the eyes of a child, you see untarnished love, hope, self-esteem, forgiveness, and determination. And for the world to have a bigger future, we must rediscover the eyes of a child. They took that and worked on it all night long, called me back, and went down to the studio the next morning. And we, for the next several hours, they worked on the music that they'd put together. Thomas Cook spent all night working on it. Amazing guy. And he registered it and he owns it. And there's a spot, I think, that you can click on a link and actually go listen to it. But you can't take it and make a top 40 out of it because he has registered it. So I have an official recording now. But nonetheless, okay, I started thinking about that quote. And I remembered the parable that Jesus talked, or the experience that Jesus had when his disciples were arguing over who is the best in the kingdom of God. And they came to Jesus and said, Jesus, tell us, who is the best? And Jesus saw a little child standing over there, and he brings him in and sets him right in the middle of them. And he says to them, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. However, he who shall humble himself as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. So I started thinking about that, and I said, what are the characteristics of a little child? Ask you, what are the characteristics of a little child? A new little child is just starting to walk, and he's got that curiosity about him. So I went to that quote, and I wrote down, first of all, untarnished love. Then I wrote down hope, self-esteem, forgiveness, determination. And then I added a few more, like trusting and uninhibited, believing, playful, non-judgmental, curious. And I just kept putting more and more down, and I think if you did, you'd find the same thing. And then I asked myself, all little children? Yes, you mean all little children are imaginative, innocent, pure of heart? They're joyful and happy? No preconceptions? No prejudices? Not afraid to sound stupid? They're not obsessed with their possessions? They're transparent? They're spontaneous, carefree? All little children? All little children? Even you, and me. We had all those great characteristics. So what happened? Did we let people put junk on that? Where they said we couldn't do it? Did we become disillusioned? Did we become embarrassed to go because somebody laughed at us? And then as we matured, did we start putting more junk on ourselves? Do we to this day put junk on ourselves? To this day, do we worry about the junk that other people put on us? Maybe perhaps so that we become like this person here, where we have to wear a mask. And we wear that mask where we go because I want people to see me as this highly successful business person, this sharp, smart coach, this mentor. I don't want them to see my junk. I don't want them to see the mistakes. I don't want to see. But you know what? I had a coach recently that grabbed me by the face. This is my private coach. And he looked me in the eyes and he said, Lee, just be Lee Brower. Just be you. So no matter how big, no matter how inflated or different the image we may try to portray is, in the end, being ourselves is what's important, isn't it? Despite heroic efforts, are we really fooling anybody? We all wear masks. I'll admit at the end, though, being ourselves is most important. So I challenge myself, and I challenge you. I made a list of these childlike characteristics, and I'm picking one out right now this morning. I haven't done it yet. I'm working on it. I'll tell you what it is next time. But I'm going to pick one out this morning, and I'm going to devote my week this week to working on that childlike characteristic. To really kind of maybe revealing, pulling a little bit of my mask off to be who? To be me. Challenge you to do the same. Have a meaningful week. I look forward to talking to you next week. Bye-bye.